Hey everybody, it's JT Stewart back with session 2 of Selling, Negotiating, and Winning. And in this session, I really want to define the difference between the selling position and when you actually start negotiating, okay? And here's tip number 1. First thing you need to know about selling, negotiating is people hate to be sold, but they love to buy. I'll give you an example of this. Here's a story. A gentleman sitting on his couch, flipping through the TV channels, clicking through, and the phone rings. And he's clicking through the channels, trying to get interested in something. He picks up the phone, and it's a telemarketer. Don't we just love telemarketers? It's a telemarketer. And the telemarketer says, "Good afternoon, sir. My name is Bob, and I'm from the XJ5 Golf Club Company. And our new club, the XJ5 Golf Club, is going to be able to hit the ball stronger, longer, straighter." And you know how it is when you're talking to a telemarketer. The first thing you do is, "I'm not interested," and he clicks and hangs up. So he goes back to watching television. He's flipping through the channels, and he comes upon a golf tournament. They're going to a commercial break, and the commercial is for the XJ5 Golf Club. You can hit the ball longer, stronger, straighter. This club will increase your game 20%. So he picks up the phone, he dials the number, and he buys the XJ5 Golf Club. What's the difference? The difference is people hate to be sold, but they love to buy. So when you're selling, negotiating, you've got to make it easy for your prospect to buy your product, service, or idea, okay? You got to make it easy for them to say yes to what you want them to do, to your position. And a lot of people, especially young people in sales, will say, "Well, I don't want to force it on them. I just want them to make up their own decision. You know, it may not be a fit for them." Well, I got news for you. It's not your call whether it's a fit for them. Don't make the decision for the prospect. Don't let them make them say no themselves. Don't you say no, because what that really comes out of is it's a fear. It's a fear of lack of self-esteem for your presentation. So you circumvent that by saying, "Well, they'd never buy anyway." How do you know? It's not your call. Your job is to position your product or service or idea in the best light possible so you can convey the message and get them to see it your way and make the sale. Don't predispose the idea that, well, they'll never buy, or they don't want it, or they don't need it, okay? So get that out of your head. Another thing we need to deal with is when you're communicating with somebody who is a potential prospect, or you're negotiating with somebody, use the right kind of verbiage. Use the right words that will convey a mental message, because really, truly, what you're doing is you're painting mental pictures and word pictures. So you want to use the right words. You don't want to say things like deal. It's not a deal. It's not a deal. So if they hear deal, automatically their mind shifts to a different position. You want to be able to use soft selling words like, and always follow it up with, "I think that's a great situation, don't you?" So that you give them a lead. But use soft selling words. Don't use harsh selling words like deal, negotiations, things like that. Use soft selling words like, you're going to enjoy this home, and it's going to be a fantastic place for you to live the rest of your life. Use those kinds of sentences, not, "Hey, I'm glad we made a deal, and you're going to love this deal." Don't do that, okay? Another thing we really, in our toolbox, as a negotiator, as a salesperson, as a business person who is a forerunner, is being able to use things in our toolbox like voice inflection. Voice inflection really creates emotion, and people buy on intellect and emotion. but you want to actually use your voice inflection and your body language to help them convey it. You can convey a message to them so that they can actually make a decision to buy or go along with your position, okay? So voice inflection is very important. It's how you say what you say. Sometimes it's people think it's like acting, but it's really not. It's really getting them to understand the message. So sometimes when you're trying to make a point, you want to do things that are in your toolbox, like lean in and talk about the value of this product. Sometimes you want to paint word pictures. If you're selling a house or a home or a piece of property, you want to sell them on the vision. This is a great property. The pool is wonderful. You can have some great pool parties out here. This is going to be awesome for the kids. See, I'm painting word pictures. I'm painting a vision that puts their family or their position in a positive light. So it's not a bad thing to lean in and say in a lower tone, your family is really, really going to enjoy the pool. So use these things that are in your toolbox. Use body language. If you're negotiating with somebody and you don't really like their position, you're not going to lean into them and go, yeah, your position sucks. You're going to be like, well, and you're going to use body language like crossing your arms. You're going to use body language if you want to be accepting of maybe opening up. It's how you shake people's hands. I've got a lot of friends that shake people's hands and they draw them into them. They'll pull them in so it becomes a little bit more of an intimate handshake. So body language. Nonverbal speaks loudly. People read nonverbal cues whether they're aware of it or whether they're not. You're speaking nonverbally to them in a way that draws them in. Convey your position by using all of your senses. And I'll give you an example of that. You got touch, taste, smell, hearing, sight. All of these senses go into the buying or negotiating process or the selling process. Now, here's an example. A buddy of mine named Tim, he was going through a divorce and he had some properties that he wanted to sell. So he asked me if I'd be interested in buying one of his properties. So I said, sure, okay, I'll take a look. So I go over to this property and it's still occupied by the renters. The renters are our older people and their place is a mess. There's laundry stacked in the corner. There's a lady sleeping in the recliner as I walk in. It's a mess. So after I toured the property, I was like, nah, I'm not really interested in this, Tim. It's not for me. So I backed off of that property. A few weeks later, he said, hey, look, the renters are out. Come and take a look at the property. So I went back and I looked at the property. All the furniture was out. The renters were out. Their mess was cleaned up. And I looked at it in a different light. I saw the potential in it. So seeing the potential in it, I bought it, rehabbed it, flipped it, and made a profit. So understanding smell, touch, taste, all these senses, sometimes you've got to let them not get in the way of making a decision. But you use them in a way that allows you to make some kind of assessment. So use all those things that are in touch, taste, smell, sight, because two things, I alluded to it earlier, intellect and emotion cause a close. When you give somebody enough information, intellect, when you give them enough information and you get them emotionally involved, you're going to be able to close that. Selling's not telling. Selling is asking the right questions. Selling is giving them the right information in a way that lets them discover it. So asking right questions allows you to lead the prospect on in the negotiation. Look, keep your focus. Keep your focus The goal is to put a deal together. The goal is to two sides come together. Both of them are happy. It's a win-win negotiation. So keep your focus. Don't allow yourself to get distracted. We're going to talk more about that in the next session on selling, negotiating, and winning. We'll be back with the next session after this.